this is the third part of my video showing the work that I've done to the house in the northeast. When I say the work I've done, it's the work that we've done. So the bit that I started, you saw me painting with my daughter. She was a tremendous help. So me, my husband and daughter all worked really, really hard over the last few days. And you'll see that I then start painting the bit above the sink, which I gave 3 coats to, and the section just above the kitchen cupboards had 4 coats. Something else that I noticed that wasn't done particularly well was that I asked for the lights to be checked and obviously replaced if they weren't up to specification. I really don't like these tube lights. What I hadn't realised, I thought the lights were going to be replaced, but actually the electrician did replace the whole section, damaged the ceiling in the meantime because he had to drill various different holes. It didn't line up to where the lights had been previously, so I've got flaking paint and various marks. Now, I would never ever choose to have these strip lights. I would have chosen to have had like 4 spotlights, but again, that was slightly lost in translation. Thinking about it, he made the same mistake last time. What you do learn with some workmen is you have to absolutely specify everything to the tiniest degree, just because sometimes people make very, very different assumptions to what you might make. Because I know that if I said to all the people that I know about this light, they would say, oh yes, if you want to replace it, you wouldn't replace it with this tube lighting. So I'm not quite sure why that was replaced. I'll have to check with my husband, because it looks to me like he's replaced an old-fashioned tube light with an old-fashioned new tube light. So I'm gonna have to check that. And you can also see that I was painting all around the curtains and then just decided, oh my goodness, the net curtain really is quite dirty and needs to be binned. So in a minute you'll see that I take that off. So as I record this, we're now back home, and all of the items that I put into the van, all the brick rubble, the tiles, the wooden pieces has all been offloaded, but unfortunately I wasn't able to help with the offloading. As I said in my other video, I really sort of pulled myself and hurt myself, so I spent one whole day literally sitting on the sofa, only getting up to go to the toilet, and otherwise just spent the day sitting in the same place. And after spending the day doing very little and just trying not to put weight on my legs, I went to bed early, and the next day I said to my daughter in the morning, it's like someone prayed for me last night. And she didn't say anything. And then when my husband got home, because he was in London, I said to him, he said, how are you? And I said, I'm much, much better. I said to our daughter that it was like someone prayed for me last night. And he said, yes, me and our daughter did. And I said, well, when I mentioned that, she didn't say anything. He said, oh yes, we did. And all the pain that I had is all completely gone. So really pleased about that, but I'm going to be very, very careful in terms of lifting anything else heavy or awkward in shape. Good news is that already I've got rid of all the metal, so that oven that some of you saw me struggle with, the different bits and pieces of metal items from inside the oven. There was an old frying pan that I was fed up with and didn't want anymore, and then all different bits and pieces of metal. So there was the metal light surrounds and some other bits. All of that the metal man has taken. And my mum was saying to me, well, if you contact him, he'll take it. And I said, oh, no, I know he will, but I don't want to think anything about that stuff at the moment while I'm just sitting on the sofa. Because if I start thinking about it, I'll want to then go outside and go have a look at it and move it all in the same place. And I just was not in the right place to be able to do that. But then when my dad came round on Thursday, I was able to walk, and we went out for a short while together. And as I then came out of the house and looked where we've dumped all this stuff, I realised that most of the metal bits had been put in the same place. So I messaged this man and said, oh, I've got an oven and I've got some other bits of scrap metal. Are you still collecting? He said, yes, can I come round tomorrow morning? And he's so reliable. At about 4 or 5 minutes past 9, the van drove up, and the alarm went off on my phone, or the notification went off on my phone to say somebody was in the drive, because we've got a camera. And there he was with his, didn't try to carry the oven like I did. He's got wheels and like a little trolley thing, and he loaded the oven on, got all the other bits of scrap metal, and off he went. So that's some of it I've got rid of. Now you'll see at the moment in the video I'm cleaning all the brushes and the roller. Now this job, someone else commented on one of my shorts and said, oh, isn't that the worst job? Well, normally I don't do that. My husband does all the cleaning up of the paint things, but he had quite a few calls, so he was quite busy on the day that I was doing this, just trying to load the van up and just tidy up. From experience, when you're doing works or renovations in a house, if the house starts getting in more and more of a state in terms of workmen walking through, not taking their shoes off, dust, bits of paint, bits of brick rubble, things all piled around, workmen increasingly are what I consider disrespectful. Whereas if the house is still, looking dated and looking old-fashioned, but it's clean, tidy, the carpets have been hoovered, they're much less likely to walk about with the boots on, much less likely to not clear up after, they're more likely to clear up after themselves. So that was quite important to me. That did take time. That was quite important to make it as tidy as possible. Now today I've got some good news in terms of all the flooring. So I've had quotes to scree the kitchen diner floor and to board the bathroom floor. And I've had the particular carpet place has got a special offer, £10.99 per metre for the carpet. And the carpet, the £10.99 is much better quality than the £12.99 because they've bought such a massive amount of it, like in bulk. So I've had all the prices put forward and what the kind of things, there's a few little snags that need to be sorted out. And I messaged back and said, thanks very much, asked a few extra questions and said, is there anything you can do in terms of any other offer? He's then taken off another £100. So I messaged back, and now his company is not boarding and not doing the scree. So I messaged back and said, would you be able to ask the company who's doing the screeing of the kitchen and diner floor and the boarding of the bathroom, would you be able to see whether they're willing to take anything else off the price? And I think he's taken off another they have taken off another £80. So I do think if you don't ask, you don't get, do you? He could have just said to me, or I've contacted them and they've said no. I do feel a bit negative when people don't take anything off, because I always think, well, you could just say, I'm sorry, this is a really good price, but I can take off £20. And I'd be happy with that. Just something. Whereas when people in the past have said to me, no, can't take anything off, then I just go to another organisation. So I'm sorry the audio is not that good a quality. I'm actually travelling at the moment, which means it's not such great quality. So I'm just trying to get it done, the recording done, because I've now got no space on my phone at all. And my husband will soon start saying to me, oh, you've got things you need to delete. But I have gone through and deleted loads and loads and loads. I've got nothing more to delete. I just need to delete some of these videos. So you can see that a lot of the haul has now been done with one coat. So like I said the other day, we're using a specific type of paint, which is to go straight on new plaster. Personally, I think it's much better just with water down normal paint. I think that's much better. So just water it down and just do that first coat over the plaster. But we've got some different paint this time, which is just quite thin. specifically for new plaster. But I think it's like a marketing ploy. That, you know, these companies want to tell you that you need other things, and actually no, you just need ordinary paint watered down. So I do not like doing ceilings, but I did do quite a lot of the ceiling here, managed to get quite a lot of that done. There's still more to do, haven't quite finished it before we packed up and had to come home, but I did manage to do a lot. Then you'll see that my daughter's also helping me on the other side of the ladder. She was a complete star, how much she managed to help. And then on the next video, you'll see that I'm starting to move all that rubbish, the boards, the garden rubbish, the metal, the bags of tiles, the lumps of plaster into the van. So in terms of our timeline, I'm still waiting for the electrician to come back to me. Now this electrician is really, really reliable, really nice, sort of genuine person. Either he's completely fed up with me, or he's completely overworked, or he's maybe unwell. I hope it's not the latter. So he needs to go back to the house, reconnect the electrics upstairs, because at the moment there's no electric upstairs. He needs to put the bathroom light in and the fan in, and then I've also asked him to put another point in at the back of the oven, because at the moment I can't see how the oven can be plugged in safely. But he's just not replied to me, and the difficulty is if I don't get him in, I can't then get the plastering done, finished off in the bathroom, because that's going to make a complete mess, and I can't get the tiler to start the kitchen. So as some of you will be listening to this and be aware, if you've ever undertaken sort of a project like this, a slight delay in one trade can put all of the others out. So obviously I've got the flooring all ready and lined up, and I'm going to pay my deposit for that, but they can't come in until all the other trades have been in. And I'll also need to get a carpenter. I'm trying to find an odd job man, just to be able to do a few bits and pieces such as fitting skirting boards and that sort of thing, just some small jobs. I was quite pleased though, in the local area there's a man who looks for old benches, metal tables, wooden benches, metal seats, wooden seats, and he picks them up and then he completely refurbishes them. Well, on this video you can see that brick building that was just on the video. That's the two little sheds there where you can store, tools and lawnmowers and that sort of thing. And one of them was pretty much full of rubbish, which should have legally been cleared out, but hadn't been. Interestingly, the person who did live in that house, he messaged me and asked me if he could move back in. And I thought, well, really, there's cat hair absolutely everywhere. You left loads of junk for me to clear out, so I'm not even going to reply to the message. But in one of the little sheds, there was a metal table, and there wasn't space for us to bring it home in the van. So I messaged him and said, would he like it? Obviously for free, because I'm just going to give it to the metal man otherwise. So he's going to get someone to come and pick it up for him, and then he'll renovate it and make it look like new, which I'm really pleased about that, because it will stop it from being melted down or put into landfill, and that will have a new life, all painted and looking like new again. So when you first sort of look at all this rubbish in the picture, all these piles of things, it doesn't look like that much, but the van was completely full, and my husband had the same problem with those blue bags as me. Several of the bags completely split on him, but he wouldn't have had the challenge that I have in terms of weight. I haven't asked him about that, because I split most of those bags. I had to split into 2 bags because they were so heavy.
forward. You're not going in until you've done your way. I'm going in, but you're not. What? This is what happens when we don't listen. Just do your way. It's not that difficult. You're a pain in the butt.
So I allowed that bit to run normal time for you to see how long it actually takes to do some of this, because every time I'm walking backwards and forwards along the pathway, out to the gate, out to the van, and then trying to load it up. And as it got fuller and fuller, it was harder and harder to get the items on. I was glad though, my husband suggested that I put the wood on first, so all the flat wood went in. But the only thing I was left with were these massive, great, flat slices of marble, which we then had to pile on the top. But then we put a big cloth over everything, which meant, incredibly, nothing moved. On the whole trip back, nothing moved. I imagined that on the way back we were going to hear one big bang as a lump of marble fell against the door or something, but there was none of that at all. So you'll see me slowly but surely clear up all the garden and put it all into the van. And then you'll see me moving some of the sort of extra bags. And then you'll see we made a little trip to Ikea. So we had a little look around Ikea. So there's a couple of videos from Ikea. Then you'll see a clip where I'm showing you the vinyl, the different colours of vinyl that I was looking at for the kitchen and for the bathroom. And then I end the video with a few different photographs. And these photographs were taken by my daughter just before we left. So we can always do a comparison. I wanted to do a video again, but we just ran out of time. And you'll also, if you watch very carefully, you'll see where one of the bags split. And the bag split, and all the tile dust and all the tile pieces went all the way over the path. So just like I haven't got enough to do, and a bag splits. The good thing was, of course, that it was much easier to unpack the van than what it was to load the van. So it took a lot less time. Like I said, some of the bags have split, so they've now split all over my stones. And in my next video, I'm doing some gardening, and I do a little garden tour, and I show you what my plans are for my garden this year. And you'll see there, I also show a little clip of all the stuff piled up. So I'm just going to have to get rid of it piece by piece by piece. It will take some time, but I'll get rid of it eventually. And the only thing really I need to do, front and back garden, is unfortunately, in the last few weeks, somebody has managed to break my post. You see the gate, the post is on the left, completely looks like it's rotten, but I imagine that a couple of people have perhaps just slammed the gate or shoved the gate and to get it to click down and lock. And in doing that, the post has fallen over, and now you can see where it has rotted, so they didn't cause the problem, but we were being quite gentle. And that's the thing, when you've got people coming and going, doing different jobs, you don't know if there's any damage, you don't know who's done the damage. But it's just one of the things you just kind of have to accept. We were also lucky, we have got a friend who lives nearby, and I asked him to go to the house and check the plastering, and I also asked him to go back to the house to put the heating on, because I was really concerned that by the time we got up there to decorate, that the plaster was still going to be wet. So he did us a favour and just went in, and the house was lovely and warm when we got there because the heating had been left on for a little bit. So thank you for watching my video. I hope you've enjoyed watching my stage 3, what I've been up to. If you do stay till the end, like I said, you'll see the clips of Ikea and the vinyl, and then a few different photographs. So I hope you can see that there's still a lot more work to do, but we are making progress. See you next time. Bye bye.
Yeah, I'm your guardian angel.